Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about using Netflix for immersion in language learning. As most of you already know, Netflix and other streaming services can be an extremely powerful tools and greatly help in your language learning endeavors. However, using these services to their full potential is not always an easy task. So in today's video, we're going to be diving into how to maximize your immersion when using Netflix for language learning. With that being said, let's jump into the video. To start, I want to talk about what I like to call the pyramid of immersion on Netflix. At the bottom of this pyramid, we have your standard Netflix you get when you create an account. With this version of Netflix, you get access to a select pool of content originally made in your target language, along with the occasional dub of your favorite Hollywood films. The next layer of immersion is switching your account language from your native language to your target language. I would highly recommend that you switch Netflix to display things in your target language, as it will benefit your language learning. By doing this, Netflix will start displaying movie titles in said target language. In the case of Japanese, you will start to see a lot of katakana in place of normal English titles, which will give you some extra reading practice, while I'm sure you're mindlessly browsing for something to watch for half the day. For whatever reason, Netflix won't display all dubbed options until you switch into the target language. I honestly have no clue why this happens, because there shouldn't be any copyright problems since you're still using the same Netflix. The final layer of immersion for Netflix is to use a VPN to connect to your target language's country or country's region while using Netflix, in order to gain access to a much larger pool of content to immerse with. The VPN you use doesn't really matter as long as it supports Netflix. Due to copyright laws, Netflix must restrict some content to certain regions. However, because people try to use VPNs to get around these restrictions, Netflix attempts to block these IPs and VPNs. Netflix's ability to track down and block these VPNs is getting better and better, so many VPNs have stopped trying to keep up the chase and beat Netflix in this VPN race. With that being said, I would highly suggest using NordVPN or ExpressVPN. I personally use NordVPN because I really like the visual aspect with the interactive map, as well as it being a cheaper option. As a side note, ExpressVPN does seem to be more invested in keeping up with Netflix in this chase to unblock Netflix. So in the future, ExpressVPN is probably going to be more dedicated to unblocking Netflix. While making this video, I was poking around in the settings and found that you can customize the subtitles to your liking. Personally, I don't use subtitles during my immersion, but if you do, you should check this out to create a better experience. However, there doesn't seem to be a lot of options in terms of fonts for character-based languages like Chinese or Japanese, so I'm not completely sure of how useful this is. Another useful tip to maximize your immersion is by using the audio description version of the content. Matt vs. Japan did an entire video on this feature, which I will link below. The audio description version is meant for people with vision disabilities or blind people. It essentially will describe things in a scene, making it understandable and enjoyable for people who cannot see the content. What this means is essentially an endless stream of immersion audio, because not only will you hear things that the characters are saying, but you'll also hear how the scene is being described in your target language. It should be noted that using this feature on the show Terrace House is not recommended, because in this version the commentators that occasionally comment on the show after a scene will be commentating during the entire scene, making it really hard to understand what the characters are saying.
楽しい会なんだから楽しくしようよ。
楽しくしようぜ。
飲もうかな。
まこっちゃんの新たなスタートに。
そうだね。楽しい会なんだから楽しくしようよ。
夢諦めるんだよ。怒るでしょその人いつも。
しようぜ。
飲もうかな。
まこっちゃんの新たなスタートに。
If you're like me and sometimes have trouble finding something to watch, then you're gonna love this next trick. Obviously, using a VPN gives you access to much more content on Netflix. However, you don't know what shows are available in what countries. This is where the Netflix global search comes into play. With this tool, you can search for your favorite films and see if they're on Netflix in any country around the globe. When you combine this with the VPN of your choice, you gain access to the entirety of the Netflix library and never run out of immersion content. On this website, you can also set filters to directly find the content in your target language, and you can view information regarding the audio and subtitle information as well. Overall, this is an extremely powerful tool and will save you a ton of time when finding new content to enjoy. This tool is especially useful in the case of a language like German. As you may or may not know, German is spoken primarily in 3 countries, that being Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Well, there could be a hypothetical case where a show is available on the Swiss version of Netflix, but not available on the German or Austrian version. This is just one example of where the global search tool can come in handy. So everyone, that is all I have for you in today's video, and I hope that some of these tips will come in handy for your language learning endeavors. If you have any other tips for maximizing immersion from Netflix, please share them in the comments below. In the description box below, you can find all the information pertaining to the information provided in the video. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.